Fernando Mendoza is probably, the obvious pick here. But what should bring any Raiders fan, to have the belief in that is that he possesses everything that you want to see in your quarterback.
Yeah.
Calm, cool, collective, and also has great leadership abilities that the Raiders need.
The NFL has fallen in love with chaos. For the better part of a decade, the league has been obsessed with the magician. Front offices have spent billions of dollars and sacrificed dozens of first-round picks chasing the next quarterback who can break structure. We've been told that the only way to win in the modern era is to find the guy who can escape a collapsing pocket, throw across his body from an impossible platform, and turn a total disaster into a viral highlight. The league has been defined by the spectacular. Mahomes flipping sidearm lasers, Lamar Jackson outrunning entire secondaries, and Caleb Williams spinning away from pressure before launching a 40-yard moonshot. But while the rest of the league was busy hunting for magic, a 6'5" kid from Miami was busy mastering the one thing that magic can't beat: logic. His name is Fernando Mendoza, and the scary truth about him isn't that he's the next great athlete. It's that he's the man who is going to make the magician era look obsolete. He's not chaos, he's the end of it. Let's talk about exactly what sets Fernando Mendoza apart from every other prospect in the 2026 class. Over the last few years, the NFL draft process has become a game of projection. Teams have stopped drafting the best football players and started drafting the best athletes who happen to play quarterback. We've seen teams overdraft project quarterbacks like Anthony Richardson and Trey Lance, betting on traits, betting on 40-yard dash times, and betting on what a player might become in 3 years instead of what he is right now. Even Caleb Williams, who went number 1 just 2 seasons ago, was the ultimate volatility bet. The Chicago Bears knew they were getting a generational talent, but they also knew they were getting a player whose tape was built on high-wire acts. It was spectacular, but it was unsustainable without massive refinement. Fernando Mendoza is the direct rejection of that philosophy. On January 23rd, 2026, Mendoza posted his draft declaration with a caption that went viral: "My LinkedIn status is now open to work." It sounds like a joke, but for Mendoza, it was a mission statement. He isn't a project. He's a professional, ready to clock in. Fresh off leading the Indiana Hoosiers, a program that was once a Big Ten afterthought, to a perfect 16-0 national championship, Mendoza looks like a quarterback who could walk into an NFL huddle tomorrow and command men 10 years his senior. He doesn't just survive the game, he functions within it. Right play. He understands a truth that many NFL stars never learn. You win them by making the impossible look easy. To understand why Mendoza is so scary to NFL defenses, you have to look at where he came from. This wasn't a 5-star recruit who was handed the keys to a blue blood program. When Mendoza arrived at Cal in 2022, he was an afterthought. He was buried on the depth chart. But when he finally got his chance in Week 6 of 2023 against Oregon State, the world saw the first glimpse of the Mendoza method. But it wasn't the stats. It was the scars. Mendoza played behind an offensive line that was often overmatched. He was hit, he was pressured, and he was forced to process information at a speed that most young quarterbacks find paralyzing. Instead of breaking, he hardened. He developed a clockwork internal timer. By the time he hit the transfer portal and landed at Indiana, he had 35 college starts under his belt. That experience is his greatest weapon. Experience at quarterback isn't just about how many passes you've thrown, it's about exposure. As one analyst noted,
35 starts he benefited from, experience being the best teacher. Think about the biggest games, the Big Ten championship game, Ohio State, the 3 playoff games. He's had 10 touchdowns, only 1 pick, 9 passing, 1 rushing, and a 74% completion percentage. This kid is ready for the NFL because he benefited from 35 starts.
He has seen every disguised coverage the Big Ten can throw at him. He has seen the exotic blitzes of Penn State and the disciplined bend but don't break of Iowa. By the time he steps onto an NFL field, there's nothing a defensive coordinator can show him that he hasn't already solved. If you want to see why NFL scouts are drooling, you have to watch tape of the 2025 Big Ten championship game. Indiana versus Ohio State, a powerhouse against a program on the rise. In that game, Mendoza didn't light up the stat sheet with 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. If you just looked at the box score, you might miss it. But if you watch the film, you see a masterclass in psychological warfare. Mendoza suffocated the Buckeyes. He avoided every trap. He checked out of bad plays. He identified the blitz before the linebacker even moved. Indiana walked away with a 13-10 win in one of the grittiest games in recent memory. Throughout that entire playoff run, against Alabama, Oregon, and Miami, Mendoza wasn't reckless. He was ruthless. 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, 74% completion. That is the definition of command. And honestly, it's that same ruthless efficiency I used to trade Mendoza in the national championship live on Polymarket. While everyone reacted emotionally to the scoreboard, I focused on Mendoza's composure. Early in the third quarter, Miami scored to keep it tight, and Indiana's odds sat at 72%. Most fans started to sweat, but I never doubted Mendoza's leadership. I bought in heavy at 72%. Sure enough, not long later, Mendoza orchestrated a clinical drive, finding the end zone to make it 24-14. Instantly, the Hoosiers' odds jumped to 96%. On a traditional sportsbook, you're stuck watching the fourth quarter with your heart in your mouth. But on Polymarket, I traded my position at 96%, locking in the win. It was the right call. When Miami started their late comeback, I was already stress-free with my profit secured. Now, that trade, impossible on a traditional sportsbook. They usually lock the cash out button the second momentum swings, holding your money hostage. Plus, the house usually steals $9 in fees for every $100 you win. Polymarket takes just 10 cents. Polymarket is legal in all 50 states. Download the app now to get to the top of the waitlist only by using my link in the description.
So I would say with Fernando, I think the starting point is, can you see it and can you throw it? And those boxes are checked yes. That's a clear declaration that he can see it and he can throw it. Those have to be foundational traits for quarterbacks.
Explain that though. See it, throw it.
Yeah, so a lot of times with quarterbacks, it's can you see what the defense is presenting you? He was on with Pat the other day and he uses the phrase, every play is a puzzle. And I have to figure out what that puzzle is. I often say every play the defense presents to you a question, and you have to know what that answer is.
So this is where the scary truth actually lives. NFL defensive coordinators thrive on forcing quarterbacks into off-script moments. They want to create chaos so you make a mistake. They want to bait you into a hero ball throw that they can intercept. But when you play Mendoza, your greatest weapon, the blitz, becomes a liability. His cover zero awareness has become the stuff of legend. In the Penn State game, he recognized a bluff mid-play, recalibrated his feet, and delivered a strike for the game winner. He isn't just reacting to the defense, he's manipulating them. He is the one who is actually in control. The biggest knock on Mendoza throughout this draft cycle has been his ceiling. This is the ultimate NFL fallacy.
Most of the draft people seem to think Mendoza is going to be the number 1 pick. A lot because of Mendoza, but partly because of the quarterback class. That he is not a Drake May level athlete, that he is not a natural talent like Caleb, that there are some questions about Mendoza's ceiling in the pros, that he's more of like a Jared Goff-like prospect. Smart, winner, big, accurate.
For years, we've been told that a high ceiling means you can run a 4.4 40 or throw the ball 80 yards. But what if the highest ceiling isn't physical? What if the highest ceiling is the ability to never be wrong? The NFL isn't won on Twitter highlights, it's won on 3rd and 7 in December, in a stadium that's so loud you can't even hear your own heartbeat. It's won by the guy who can diagnose a simulated pressure look, find the hot read, and deliver the ball in 2.1 seconds. As RG3 said recently,
but let me tell you why he should be the number 1 pick in a way that actually matters. All right. Mendoza isn't just a talent. He's an anti-chaos quarterback. All right. Look at his profile. You talk about the completion percentage, the yards, 3,541 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Plus he has the running value. That's not YOLO ball. Some guys go out there and they're like, hey, you only live once. Hey, somebody's got to be over down there somewhere. He is a quarterback that consistently chooses the right answer on the test. And the NFL right now is not a highlight league. We just talked about it.
When you look at Mendoza's 2025 Heisman stats, 3,535 yards, 41 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions, you aren't looking at a guy who got lucky. You're looking at a guy who is simply better at the mental math of football than anyone else in the country. Now, let's look at the destination. The Las Vegas Raiders hold the number 1 pick in the 2026 draft. For a franchise that has been stuck in the basement of the AFC West, watching Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert run circles around them for years. The temptation is always to fight fire with fire. But the Raiders have tried that. They've tried gambling on traits. They've tried the high upside route. And it has failed every time. Now, there is a new voice in the room. Tom Brady. As a minority owner and an advisor, Brady's fingerprints are all over this organization's new philosophy. And Brady doesn't care about 40-yard dashes, he cares about the process.
The reason why I think the Raiders pick and stick is because I think that Tom Brady sees himself a little bit in Fernando Mendoza, the way that everyone has doubted him, the way that still people doubt him, maybe not the strongest arm. But when you put on the tape and you watch Fernando Mendoza become an absolute assassin at a blitz pressure and pick it up with the offensive line, slide it the right way, throw it behind, it's like clockwork.
At 6'5", Mendoza has the tall man presence that Raiders fans haven't seen since the days of Ken Stabler or Jim Plunkett. He is durable. He is accurate at every level of the field. And most importantly, he is decisive. During the national championship victory against Miami, Mendoza took a hit in the second quarter that would have ended the season for most players. He was drilled by a free rusher. His helmet was nearly ripped off, and he stayed down for a long time. But he didn't go to the 10. He got up, adjusted his chin strap, and on the very next play, he threw a 25-yard corner route for a touchdown. He's big. You saw on the big run, touchdown run. He can move around enough. And I don't know that there's ever been a quarterback more equipped to not be distracted by Las Vegas than Fernando Mendoza. Las Vegas is a city of chaos. It's a city of bright lights, noise, and infinite distractions. A young quarterback can easily get lost in the Vegas of it all. But Mendoza's entire identity is removing that noise. He's a flatliner. His pulse doesn't go up when he's down by 10, and it doesn't go up when he's on the Las Vegas Strip. We are at a turning point in NFL history. For 5 years, the off-script quarterback was the gold standard, but defensive coordinators have finally caught up. They've developed creepers and simulated pressures specifically designed to confuse the guys who want to run around. The league is moving back toward the processor. Mendoza represents the pinnacle of this new, old wave. He is a quarterback who wins the game before the ball is even snapped. He identifies the mic, sets the protection, identifies the safety rotation, and knows exactly where he's going with the ball before his hands even touch the laces. This is what makes him scary. You can't out-athlete him because he won't let you. You can't trick him because he's already seen the bluff on film. You can't intimidate him because he's already been hit by the best the Big Ten has to offer. Indiana began the 2025 year ranked 20th in the nation. Nobody expected them to be here. But with Mendoza at the helm, they navigated the most difficult schedule in the country. They knocked off Ohio State. They secured the number 1 seed. They eliminated Alabama. They eliminated Oregon. And they finished the job against Miami. He showed he can win blowouts. He showed he can win 13-10 grinders. He showed he can win ugly. Over the last 5 seasons, the NFL has been a league of what if. What if this guy just learns how to read a defense? What if this athlete learns to stay in the pocket? What if we can just coach out the bad decisions? Fernando Mendoza is the end of the what if. He recently told Pat McAfee that he won't throw at the combine because he wants to wait for his pro day. I want to make sure I give my guys the best chance. Throw at pro day with my guys, my running backs, and be there with my boys. That's not a diva move. That's a leader ensuring his teammates get their spotlight too. He isn't coming to the league to create highlights for social media. He's coming to eliminate mistakes. He's coming to control tempo. He's coming to control possessions, and most importantly, he's coming to control the outcome of the game. In a league that has become addicted to the spectacular, a man who cannot be rattled is the most dangerous player on the board. The rest of the NFL is about to find out what happens when a quarterback built for structure enters a league obsessed with chaos. If the Raiders take him at number 1, they won't be gambling. They'll be calculating. The magician era had a great run, but the processor is back. And that is the scary truth about Fernando Mendoza.